All right, step 2. Oh yeah, Dr. Sarah Donovan here talking about interactive read alouds. So the first was to get familiar with some picture books and to think about their potential for ways that you can use them in your secondary classroom. Now, the second step is to read through a few and notice the things that you notice related to author's craft, reading, vocabulary, themes, issues in the world, things that move your heart and mind, just whatever happens in your heart and mind as you read it. Because what you notice are probably things that students will notice too. So I'm just going to kind of read through and give you some of my thoughts on this. So this one is We Are the Water Protectors. Okay. And so what drew me to this is the ecology of it. So thinking about environment, also indigenous themes. Also this one won the Calicut a literary award as well. And so I'm thinking about the indigenous literature that we read in our high school courses. Thinking about the environment. I know it's very common to think about transcendentalism and to think about nature, Thoreau's work. So these are things that we do talk about in our English classroom. So already I have some ideas on the ways that I might use this in my high school classroom. So, all right, I'm going to take through. Water is the first medicine, Nakomi's told me. Okay, so now right away, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right, so I'm nervous about that. But I want to check it out. And I see a grandmother and a child, probably a granddaughter. So again, like based on the other video, there's like women. So I think about gender now. This is making me think about gender. And elders and wisdom. So these are some things that are happening. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body, and it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. So we is this collective pronoun. So this seems kind of interesting too. We come from water is that, and the narrator's first person, but it sounds like it's kind of a collective first person. And this is a really powerful image of motherhood and nature. Okay. So perspective, water is sacred, beliefs. We stand with our songs and our dreams. We are still here. So this is all in italics. And that's making me think about why is in italics. It sounds like it's a song and the characters around it have have what look like sacred drums and music. And they also look like elders, but also some younger people too. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. And then it makes me think this might be the narrator, my veins, my people's veins. And there's some repetition in there, my veins, my people's veins. And it has kind of a musical quality in the writing. So I'm noticing the writing, the poetic writing. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land. I'm wondering, black snake, is it literal or figurative? Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. And then here's a picture of a pipe in the water, and then animals. And so I feel like environmental impact is really coming through here. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Okay, so now there's this impact, right? Contemporary impact on water and the people being able to drink the water because of the black snake. So that's figurative. So I feel like that we see the metaphor, we see the symbolism. We can unpack that for sure. The venom burns the land, courses through the water. So it's very poetic here. Really interesting imagery, symbolism, a lot sort of happening here. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together. And this is like a really beautiful image of, it looks like activism, like there's a girl, it's like, I just feel like girl power here. And then like all capitals with the exclamation point and her, the image of her face and her eyes, and very almost superhero-like in some ways too. So this is kind of striking me really interesting. To stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. So now I see this refrain in italics, and it's a similar image as the one before. We are still here. This keeps coming up as well. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones. And so who are these ones? And then there's like image of the animals. And there's a little bit of personifying as in ones, like they're beings. So this is kind of an interesting poetic craft. The four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes, this listing of beings impacted by this water. The earth, we are all related. So this is kind of a thematic or message, right? This seems like it might be the message here that we collective. Is important to come back to that pronoun. Tears like waterfall stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down people's faces. So again, I'm noticing the simile here, the figurative language in the picture book. It's but also the water coming up again and again. So we have like the water, the black snake in the water, we can't drink the water, and now these tears, this water kind of coming down. I've never read this before, but like as you can see, like this is all happening in my brain while I'm reading it. Water has its own spirit, Nakomi's told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. So that here we come to this personifying of the water, just sort of like they were anthropomorphizing the pipe and the oil, like maybe an oil spill. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. So this refrain comes again, the same image. So we see this refrain, this repetition. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. And here's this collective picture. So we had the single girl before, and now there's this collective picture of the community standing together. And there's some notes in the back, but that was the last page. Okay. So step one, like familiarize yourself with the books, and step two, read them and then start thinking about from a teacher's lens and a reader's lens, all the things that you notice in the text. And then how this might lend itself to teaching some standards or to teaching some essential questions. And I have lots of ideas with themes and craft and conceptual ideas about agency and activism, but also literary themes and cultural themes as well, and pronoun use, all of that kind of stuff. So there's lots here to unpack once you start looking at the picture book, that I think this would even be a great exercise for high school students to do an analysis like that. Okay, come back for the next one.